Miskeen represents the poor person who is close to you, your neighbor or someone within your locality. Someone that is struggling to pay their bills and they're close to you physically. So they have a greater right upon you. And Ibn Sabil is the one who's traveling through. So he's not from your town, he's not from your neighborhood, he's not from your locality, but he's traveling through. And so, Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying prioritize those that are closest to you in terms of your relatives, and then prioritize those that are closest to you in terms of locality, and then spend on Ibn Sabil upon the one that is passing through. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبْذِيرًا, and do not spend wastefully. إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينَ, verily those who are wasteful, and in the English language, israf and tabdir will actually end up being translated the same way, but they're very different, which I'll get to in a moment, inshallah ta'ala. إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينَ, verily the wasteful are the brothers of the devils. وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِرَبِّهِ كَفُورًا, and verily the shaitan was to his Lord, or is to his Lord, kafura, ungrateful. Okay, so what's the difference between israf and tabdir? The easiest way to put it, and this could be honestly a 30-minute lecture in and of itself, and I mean that, right? If you were just to talk about the way the ulama distinguished israf from tabdir, that's a halaqah. So I'm going to summarize it as best as I can, inshallah ta'ala. Israf generally speaks to extravagance with that which is permissible. So it's not that the spending or what you're purchasing is haram in and of itself. Okay, so usually when israf is used, it's referring to the purchase or the spending in regards to things that are within the domain of halal, but they're either stretching you or they are stretching the purpose of that halal to where it becomes questionable. So you're either stretching yourself too far, or you are stretching something that is halal in its nature to where it's starting to find itself in the realm of the things that are impermissible, either in what is sought through them or something else. Tabdhir is exclusively spending in impermissible. It's exclusively spending with or in things that are impermissible. And what's the connection to the shaitan? And the ayah lends itself when the ayah says, وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِرَبِّهِ كَفُورًا, that the shaitan was ungrateful to his Lord. The connection is that when you use Allah's ni'mah to disobey Allah, then you are like the shaitan. When you use Allah's blessing to disobey Allah with it, then you are like the shaitan. That's how you become from the brothers, the siblings of the devils. Because shaitan used what Allah gave him of power, of position, of prominence. He used those very same things that Allah gave him to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so when you spend on things to disobey Allah, or you spend with things that you disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to earn, then you are like the one, لِرَبِّهِ كَفُورًا. What an ungrateful way to repay your Lord for his ni'mah upon you. Right? How ungrateful is it that you use the blessing that Allah gave you to disobey him with it? SubhanAllah. So that is the peak of ingratitude. And again, that's a very brief summary of a topic that I personally find fascinating between israf and tabdhir. But that is, again, so israf is generally speaking in the realm of extravagance with the permissible. Tabdhir is exclusively in the realm of the impermissible, and that's why it's tied to that, according to most of the scholars. Now, let's start to define that middle path. How do I really start to practice tazkiyah with my spending? Well, first and foremost, آتِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى حَقَّهُ. Spending on your family. Allah condemns stinginess with the same degree that he condemns extravagance. And that's an important point that's often lost. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not say, he doesn't condemn extravagance and then, somewhere down the line, stinginess is also bad. No. To be stingy with those who have a right upon you is just as bad as being extravagant. Okay, so extravagance and stinginess fall in the same category.